I was ready to propose to my long-term girlfriend Lena, only to find out she had been unfaithful. Nate had spent months planning the perfect proposal, convinced that this night would change his life forever. Every detail had been carefully thought out, every moment leading up to this. Lena had been the love of his life, the woman he thought he would spend forever with. They had met in college, their relationship growing naturally from friendship to something deeper, and for the past year, they had been inseparable. In his mind, there had never been a question about their future together. He had searched tirelessly for the perfect ring, something elegant yet simple, something that fit her as perfectly as they fit together. That evening he finally held in his hands, the small velvet box carrying all his hopes and dreams. He imagined the moment vividly, the way her face would light up, the way she would cover her mouth in joyful disbelief before finally saying yes. Everything was falling into place. He had gathered their closest friends, the ones who had been there throughout their journey, and they all shared in his excitement. They had spent weeks perfecting the plan, ensuring every moment would be unforgettable. His nerves buzzed with anticipation as they arrived at Lena's house. The air was charged, electric, like something life-changing was about to unfold. His friends waited outside, their phones ready to capture the beginning of what was supposed to be the next chapter of his life. Wanting to make the moment even more special, he decided to surprise her. Instead of knocking as usual, he used the spare key she had given him long ago, a symbol of trust, of always being welcome in her world. He turned the lock slowly, careful not to make a sound, and stepped inside. His heart raced, but not from nerves, from excitement. He envisioned how it would play out. Lena's initial shock, the confusion turning into realization, then the overwhelming joy as he dropped to one knee in front of their friends. But then he heard her voice. It was soft, intimate, different from the way she spoke to him. He froze, his excitement wavered, curiosity creeping in. Who is she talking to? He moved closer, standing just outside her bedroom door, not meaning to eavesdrop, but unwilling to interrupt. And then he heard her words. After this weekend, I'll figure out how to let him down easy. You're the one I want, not him. He'd never forgive me, but who cares? His entire world shattered in an instant. His mind went blank, wiped clean by the weight of her betrayal. Had he imagined it? Had he misheard? He replayed the words over and over, hoping for a different meaning. But there was none. It was clear she wasn't talking about someone else. She was talking about him. She had already chosen someone else. The small ring box in his pocket suddenly felt unbearably heavy. Everything he had been planning, everything he had believed in, had been a lie. How long had this been going on? Weeks? Months? Had any of it ever been real? His breath turned shaky, his chest tightening with the realization. He couldn't stay there another second. On instinct, he turned and walked out the way he had come. He didn't feel his own body moving. He was numb, disconnected. The moment he stepped outside, his friends saw him. Their excited expressions fell away instantly. "Dude, what happened?" one of them asked, grabbing his arm. "I just need to go," he muttered, barely recognizing his own voice. The concern in their eyes was obvious, but he couldn't explain. Not now. Not ever. Then he heard her footsteps. Lena had heard the door, had sensed something was wrong. When she reached the front door and saw him standing there, realization dawned in her eyes. Panic twisted her features. "Nate," she called, rushing toward him, but was too late. That night his phone buzzed on the nightstand. He glanced at the screen, Lena's name. For a long moment he just stared at it, his mind empty. He had spent hours trying to process everything, trying to push it all away. He could have ignored the call. He should have, but he didn't. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe anger, maybe some pathetic part of him that still wanted answers. Whatever it was, he took a breath, steadied himself, and swiped to answer. Her voice came through the line light and cheerful, as if nothing had happened. "Hey, babe, I heard from the guys that you came over tonight, and oh my God, were you really going to propose?" His stomach twisted. She was pretending. She knew exactly what had happened, exactly what he had heard, and yet she was acting clueless, as if she hadn't been caught. Was she serious? Did she really think he hadn't heard? That he didn't know? Or was this just another one of her games, another attempt to control the narrative? He let the silence stretch, his breath steady, refusing to give her the reaction she wanted. I wasn't going to give her the reaction she wanted. I wasn't going to explode, scream, or beg for an explanation. She didn't deserve that kind of energy from me. When she realized I was responding, she spoke again. "What happened?" Her voice was softer now, fake concern dripping from every word. I exhaled slowly, my tone calm but sharp enough to cut. "Yeah, something went wrong." Silence. I pictured her standing there holding the phone, scrambling for her next move. Maybe she was going to fake cry. Maybe she'd try to turn on me. Maybe she'd try to convince me that I had misunderstood. But I wasn't giving her the chance. "I'm done, Lena, with everything." I didn't wait for a response, didn't give her time to say anything else. I hung up. The next few days passed in a haze, my mind barely able to think straight. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was a kind of betrayal that made me question everything. How could I have been so blind? The first thing I did was shove the ring into a drawer out of sight. Every time I saw it, my stomach twisted. That ring was supposed to mean forever. Now it was nothing more than a reminder of what I had almost walked into. Deleting the pictures was harder than I expected. Years of memories gone in seconds. Every trip, every holiday, every candid moment we shared. It all felt fake now. Still, I forced myself to hit delete. Keeping them would only make it harder to move on. I thought I was done dealing with her. I was wrong. A few days later, my phone rang. It was Lena's parents. At first I hesitated. What could they possibly want? Against my better judgment, I answered. Her mom's voice was soft, hesitant. "Nate, we just heard from Lena. She told us you ended things." She was crying. We just wanted to understand what happened. I closed my eyes, taking a slow breath. Of course she would spin the story. Of course she would make herself the victim. I should have expected this. "Did she tell you why?" I asked, my voice steady. A pause, then her dad sighed. "She said she did nothing." I almost laughed at how ridiculous that was. I forced myself to stay calm. "She didn't tell you the truth then." I told him everything. The proposal, the phone call, the other guy. I kept my voice even and factual. No anger, no yelling, just the truth. When I finished, the line was silent. Finally her dad spoke, his voice heavy. "We had no idea." Of course they didn't. Lena was good at pretending. She had everyone fooled. "We'll get to the bottom of this," her mom said. I didn't need them to. It was already over. But part of me wondered, if they had known the real her all along, would they have warned me? Or would they have warned her to stop? A week passed, and I was finally starting to feel a little better. The first few days had been a mess. Anger, confusion, sleepless nights. But now I wasn't thinking about Lena as much. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Then my phone rang. I glanced at the screen. Maya, Lena's best friend. I almost let it go to voicemail. I hadn't spoken to Maya since the proposal, and honestly, I didn't want to deal with anyone connected to Lena. But something in my gut told me to answer, so I did. Her voice was serious in the start. No small talk, no fake concern, just straight to the point. "Nate, you need to know something." I didn't respond right away. I just waited. My heart was already pounding. Deep down, I knew whatever she was about to say was going to make everything worse. Maya took a breath. "Lena wasn't just cheating on you," she said. "She was living a double life." My grip on the phone tightened. "What do you mean?" "She wasn't just with that guy behind your back," Maya said. "She's been doing this for months. And it's not the first time." My stomach dropped. "She keeps a backup guy," Maya continued. "Every time. She never fully commits to anyone until she's sure which guy is better for her." I couldn't even speak. I just sat there, trying to process it. Maya kept going. "She was never going to tell you. The plan was to let you propose, then decide later if she actually wanted to go through with it. But the other guy, he was never serious about her. He just wanted their flings. He never planned to date her, let alone marry her. And there was the truth I didn't know I needed to hear. I felt empty, knowing Lena never saw me as a real person. She never loved me the way I loved her. I was just an option, a safety net. The signs were all there. The way she was distant sometimes but sweet when she needed to be. The way she never made long-term plans but still strung me along. And now she had lost everything. I exhaled, my hand still gripping the phone. Maya was still on the line, waiting for me to say something, but there was nothing left to say. I thanked her for reaching out and ended the call. I finally understood. After everything, I made a decision. I wasn't going to let this break me. Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it messed with my head for a while. But I refused to let Lena's betrayal define me. So I threw myself into work. I focused on my goals, the things I put on hold while I was busy trying to build a future with someone who never really saw me in hers. I picked up old hobbies and reconnected with friends. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was living for myself. Then one afternoon, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. Lena, a single message. Can we talk? I stared at it for a moment. Not because I wanted to respond, but because of how predictable it was. She had lost her backup plan. She had gambled and lost, and now she wanted to talk. I didn't even open the message. I smiled, blocked her number, and moved on. Some love stories aren't meant to have a happy ending. And you know what? That's okay. Because not every ending needs to be wrapped in a bow. Sometimes a real happy ending is choosing yourself over someone who never really chose you.